and its screams, I heard it asking for help, and since I'd figured out how to spell a spell to hold it off, I thought, I don't know, that I might be able to talk to it. Eyes narrowed, Cass looks at Rafe. Did you hear it ask for help? No, Rafe rubs the back of his neck. But I'm also not a medium or a witch with medium powers. Isn't it possible Billy could have heard what it was saying when I couldn't? Cass waves his hand. It doesn't matter either way. That thing could have sucked you both inside, and then what? You can't help them. They're beyond help. I dig my nails into my palms. Are we sure about that? What do we even know about them apart from the noise they make? I don't remember much about being alive, but I do know that it's the kids in the worst pain who lash out the most. It's someone else's voice in my head feeding me these words. The same voice I heard in the life flash I had in the healing ward. Haley. I'm hearing my sister Haley. She worked, or maybe still works, with children who have had one or both of their parents die. I press my palms against my throbbing temples, shutting my eyes to try and dig out more information. But Rafe speaks and distracts me. You're a medium, right, Cass? Have you ever heard one talk? Cass's face sags and he traces the end of his staff with a thumb. No, but I guess I've never listened. We were taught not to. He sinks into a squatted position. Sadness radiates off of him. I glance up at Rafe, then risk taking a few steps toward the ghost guide. Sitting cross-legged in front of him, I lean forward to try and catch his eyes. I mean, it's kind of hard to make sense of anything over all that shouting and the whole sucking you into their orbit thing. I probably heard it on a fluke. Cass shakes his head. I thought I'd left behind all the extra assumptions when I died, but I guess I still got some blinders on. He meets my gaze. We have a lot to talk about, especially with that shield you just conjured up. Let's get inside. The three of us head into the combat room where we can talk without getting interrupted. Rafe and I sit on the bottom step of the risers near the practice weapons, my mind pulled in multiple directions. My body, or spirit rather, tries to take over the whole show. The memory of Rafe's warm lips lingers on mine, the feel of our chests pressed together, of our hips meeting. Heat flushes my face. As much as I'd love to revisit our make-out session, now is not the time. I shake my head and focus on Cass pacing the mat in front of us. His face is tight and he keeps spinning the staff between his fingers. Its smooth motion is oddly mesmerizing. Even when he stops to face us, his hands continue to move. As you know, I used to be an Xer. Cass lets the staff hit the ground lightly before flipping it around again. Like many extremists, Xers are generational. My family has been in the business of torching bones and attachment objects for a very long time. Usually we dealt with local hauntings, but right before I died, we heard a rumor that there was a large concentration of close by. So my brother Zen and I came to check it out. Rafe lifts his brows. You'd found Locklear. Exactly. Cass scratches the back of his head. When we got here, we used a spell to see the school. This was the first moment I started to realize we might have been wrong about the way we thought about ghosts in general. My brother wanted to call the others and launch an attack, but I wanted to know more. So I convinced him to do a little recon. I cross my legs and rest my elbows on my knees. So your family knows about Locklear? No, Cass paces again. We checked in, but I didn't give them any details, not even a general location. Then, while we were searching the grounds, Mr. Q confronted me when I was alone. Even though I'd heard there were mediums who believed that not all ghosts were dangerous, I'd never actually talked with one before. My parents always told us not to listen to them, that they were liars. I almost shot him on the spot, but I was curious enough to hear him out. He told me that what we were doing was creating more of a problem, then showed me one of the twisted. Cass bumps the staff against the side of his foot, paces a few more times, then faces us again. Then my brother showed up. He wasn't so willing to listen. Zen believed the twisted ghosts were a trick. All hell broke loose. He shot at Mr. Q, and when I tried to stop him, he trails and drops his head. Zen had a spelled bomb. It went off and took us both out. My fingers ache as I twist them together. That's so awful. It was, Cass nods. Thankfully, Mr. Q wasn't in the line of fire. He was there to help us in the afterlife, though. It took time, but becoming a ghost yourself makes it a lot harder to argue their innate harmfulness. is not just to explain Landon's accusations without truth. There can be no trust, but also to help you understand my mentality toward ghosts in general and Twisted specifically. I chew my lower lip. This entire explanation gives me insight into Cass's worldview, but it still doesn't answer one of the biggest questions I have. Okay, if truth breeds trust, then tell me this. Where are you sending the students that get twisted? Cass's eyes darken. He spins his staff to rest on his shoulders and hooks both arms over either side. A muscle in his jaw ticks. I'm not allowed to disclose their location with students for security reasons, but they are contained and safe. Or as safe as they can be. This dodge doesn't surprise me, even with all the truth-telling. There was no way getting that piece of information was going to be easy. I doubt very seriously we're going to be able to convince him to tell us any more than this. But maybe with the right questions I can figure out some other details. Is anything being done to help them, I ask. Cass sighs. Not at the moment. Though if you can't communicate with them, he shakes his head. We'll have to talk to Mr. Q. I don't know that he'd let you near them, but if there's any possibility of helping him, he might be willing to consider it. Now we're getting somewhere. The thought of speaking with him after